Hey everyone, I am Shawn. I will be filling in for Brianna today as your guest host on the women's show. So I'm going to do my best to kind of stay out of it and let the women give you their information and their advice. So I'm just hanging out here for the show. All right, I'll do a very brief intro and then let you girls introduce yourself. I am Shawn. I'm a C5, C6 quadriplegic from a snowboarding accident almost 18 years ago. You want to go first, Nikki?
Sure. So I'm Nikki. I'm a T6 paraplegic. I was injured in March of 2019 in a car accident with my twin sister, and you've probably seen me before, so hi.
Yeah, thanks for coming and joining us, Nikki. Ruby, why don't you go? We'll leave Shannon's the new one, so
Okay. Okay. Hi, my name is Ruby, and I'm a T12 complete. I was injured in 2007
Zoom.
in a car
Fix that
accident.
Zoom.
Yeah, fix that.
Sorry, sorry. I'll
In
fix that in a second.
2007 in a car accident. I was 5 months pregnant when I had my injury, and that's my story.
All right, thank you, Ruby. Thanks for joining us. And then,
Thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I had a spinal cord tumor when I was 2 years old. So the levels were T3 to T5. And then in 2009, I also had a syrinx at C5 to 6. So I'm kind of navigating both the para and quad world.
That's an interesting story. That's cool.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
that'd be actually great to
Very
hear some
unique.
more about. That's cool. Yeah, that is very unique.
Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah, that's cool. Not cool, but that's just interesting that you're doing. To be going through that. Um, but so let's I guess get into some of these questions. You've probably been through a few chairs now, then, since starting that young.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll just start with the basics of just kind of like what it's like to get the process started, or what are the first things you need to start to do. I don't know if any one of you guys want to jump in and start on that. Uh, if anybody wants to volunteer to go first, or I'll just.
I can kind of go if you
Yeah,
want.
there you go, Nick.
Oh my god. Sorry, this dog's messing with me. Um, my so I'm newly injured into not newly, well, still new. I feel like I'm a baby still in this world, in this disabled community. So in 2019, I do remember like the first step was getting measured and all that, but I'm also in the process again of getting another chair, and I know I'm only like 3 years out, but it's because my chair just is not it. I don't think they did any of the measurements right. I have actually been fighting for the last 2 years for a new chair because like you just know when something's wrong. Like you're like, this isn't right. Like it's literally like 3 inches too big on my sides. Everyone I meet tells me my chair looks too big for me. I'm like, what were they measuring? And it's very frustrating. I think it's causing a lot of my pain. And so I actually recently, it was in June now, so I haven't even heard back. But in June, I had to got remeasured. They looked at me in this chair that I'm in now. So they measured like everything all over again. They're like, "Oh yeah, you are really small. Why is your chair this long, this big?" It was weird. And then now I'm on the next step of where like they needed doctor's notes. I don't remember what's after this step, but I guess I'll see after this. That's been my process right now. I'm still waiting to hear back from them, but hopefully in due time. I know they're now probably waiting for insurance because the doctor works with insurance and I finally went to the doctor. So yeah, that's kind of been my process. I feel like it's a drag. It's a little
Mhm.
frustrating, but it's really important to know the right chair and advocate for yourself. So, yeah.
Yeah, no,
What about
having
you
the right
guys?
chair is really important.
Definitely.
So, so have Ruby? Have you? How many chairs have you been through? Are you on?
Ooh.
I'm on the third chair. I think I should get a new one probably in the next year. Um, the first chair, I think they measured me. If I want to remember, after I had my baby, I was obviously bigger, and they wanted to wait for me to lose all the pregnancy weight to get the right measurements. So it took me a long time to get my new chair when I first had my injury. I think that's the longest I
Hold on, I'll
was
fix
in
that.
that. It felt like I was in a wrestling sumo chair type thing. But it was definitely interesting how they measure you. I don't remember like the first chair, but the second chair I was really excited about to get measured because I was just like, oh, this is gonna be my baby. I got to choose the colors, and I was really like more accepting of my injury. So I was like, I went all out on that chair, paid a lot out of pocket too. It was like a car, but it was worth it. It helped me a lot. I feel like it pushed me to be more out there and more confident, and to be myself.
Yeah, no, that's having the right chair really makes you feel better. It makes you feel like good about yourself. Makes you feel right.
Yeah,
Shannon, what
definitely.
about you? I mean, you've been through a few processes now. So how? I guess for you, how has it changed from earlier years to now that going through the process?
Yeah, so I actually got my first chair when I was 10 years old because I was able to walk with loft-drawn crutches. And I just needed a chair for long distances, so like field trips and vacations and stuff. So I didn't use it all that often, but then when I was in eighth grade, I broke my hip and I had to have a lot of spinal surgery, so I wasn't able to walk as well as I used to. So I started using this chair when I was 14 that was measured me when I was 10, so it wasn't a great fit. And then I got to high school and I went through the process to get a new chair. And my mom was really involved in that process and she was used to the folding chair that they had given me. So we ordered another folding chair, which was not the best idea. And I was using that full time at that point, and it was way too big for me. And I actually took that chair to college with me. I went to the University of Illinois, which has a great wheelchair basketball and track program. So I met a lot of other people in wheelchairs, and they too were like, "What kind of wheelchair are you using? Were you injured yesterday?" And I was like, "Oh, this has been a lifelong thing for me, but this is my amazing folding chair." So when I was in college, I went through the process to get my first rigid chair, and that was definitely better than the folding chair that I came to college with, but it was still too long and too heavy, and there were a lot of things that I didn't like about it. So when I got my current chair, I kind of took all of the things that I didn't like from that chair, and changed it. So like my folding chair still had like the side handlebars and the push handles, and so I've gradually taken a lot of weight off my chair and made it slimmer and shorter. So I'm really happy with the chair that I have now, and I think that makes it a lot easier when you go in to get a new chair, having something that you know works for you and what you like, and that fits you well. So I think ordering my next chair coming up this year will be such an easier process just because I know that this is what I want and this is actually what fits me. So it's been a bit of a journey, but trial and error, I guess, has been helpful.
Yeah, I guess you really don't know until you have tried and you know learn because yeah, it's hard to get it right on the first one for sure.
Well, and I sat in a lot of like I said at U of I, there were a lot of people in wheelchairs there, and so I got to try out a lot of my friends' chairs, and I got to see what I liked on all of their different chairs, and I think that was so helpful because I got to see what worked for me, what didn't work for me, what I could manage, what I couldn't manage. So not that everyone gets that opportunity, but that really pushed me um, out of my folding chair and into something that was, easier to use and better fitted for me.
Yeah, nice. So let's talk about like the difference in the folding chair and the rigid chair and stuff like that, because some people might not even understand, like differences of why you would want one or the other. And I don't know if you guys want to get into much of that because I know Nikki, you guys probably haven't even had a folding chair before, have you, Nikki or Ruby? Besides maybe like in the hospital.
Yeah,
I had a
just in the
folding
hospital.
chair. I think the first chair I had was a folding chair.
Oh,
Okay, nice. So
Yeah, not
So
nice.
you know the struggle.
not yeah. That's
We know the struggle.
Yeah.
uh, so a folding chair, just for people that don't know, is just a chair that will fold in the middle, so it makes it easier to travel. You can put it into cars. It's like what a lot of like the hospital big wide roller chairs are, and they're usually not as custom fitted and made like they're not as lightweight. They're not as comfortable usually. They're just more for short term travel use. I think stuff like that. But yeah, once you're in a chair long term, you really want to have like a rigid chair that isn't a folding chair.
Yeah,
Right.
no folding chair.
It took me a minute to get out of the folding chair, but I'm never going back.
Me neither.
what is like a reason someone would be in a folding chair or would want to be?
So
Because they
the
gave
reason
me that option.
The reason me and my mom, when I was getting my new chair after me using my old chair that I was just using for traveling, and I was using the wheelchair full time in high school, the therapist did talk about the different options between the folding chair and the rigid chair. And we went with the folding chair just because that's what we knew. My mom knew she could get it into her car, she knew how to fold it up, and she was just nervous about changing that. And honestly, my rigid chair fits into so many more cars and spaces than the folding chair ever did. But we just didn't know at the time. So I think it was just
Makes sense.
not being educated and not being surrounded by people that were going through the same thing. So that's why we went with the folding chair the second time, but that changed quickly after I met other wheelchair users in college.
I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, it was life changing for sure.
Yeah, that helps when you actually meet people and see people using other chairs and other people with disabilities because that's where you're gonna learn the most and figure out. They'll give you the best pointers and tips and stuff.
Real.
Exactly.
For real, that's where I learned everything from all you guys.
It's very helpful.
It
I,
is.
I was just gonna note too. I do know somebody locally here that uses a folding chair, and he is like an everyday para and stuff. But for his function, his chair like it's just able he's able to get it in and out of his truck a little easier and different things like it just sort of works for him. He's an older guy and he actually has some ambulatory function so he can stand, so he can like stand and fold it and kind of like get around like. So there are some people that have uses for it and stuff like that, but for the most part they're not that functional.
Not folded.
So did you guys have to go through the process of getting a prescription from your doctor and also like going to a therapist or anything like that, a physical therapist or anything to get things approved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
So
like anything medical, like that is for even for breathing, they're like, oh, here's a prescription for this. Like everything needs a prescription. It's annoying. Like they know
yeah,
you need the wheelchair, and they're just like, oh, we still need a prescription from your PCP or whatever. I'm just like, I need it. Like, why do I need a prescription? But yeah, it's a hassle. Sometimes it takes a lot of time, like calling them and checking up. They haven't sent it over and this and that, calling back and forth.
Yeah, I know if you want to get a chair approved by insurance, that's kind of the way that you need to go, by getting a note from your doctor and then meeting with the PT and then taking the measurements. And then they write the letter of medical necessity, which kind of outlines all of the things that you want on the chair and writes why you need them, whether it be, a lightweight chair so that it doesn't stress your shoulders, or a certain kind of cushion so that it protects your skin. And a lot of these things can add expense to the chair. So the therapist and the doctor spend a lot of time kind of writing to the insurance company why we need these things. And the insurance companies don't always get back to people super quickly. So that's kind of where the delay comes in. And a lot of times, even after you submit it, they'll come back and be like, we're not going to approve X, Y, and Z. We need more documentation. So then the doctor, the therapist has to send additional documentation. And so it's just a long process because there's a lot of people that need medical equipment and not enough people on the job working to make it happen. I know some of my friends have gone to companies overseas that have really lightweight carbon fiber chairs and had someone measure them, kind of on their own and then bought their chair out of pocket. But that is not necessarily an option that is feasible for everyone. So if you want your insurance company to approve the chair, it's kind of a long process and you gotta just go through it, I guess.
yeah, dealing
Yeah.
with insurance is hard sometimes, but the chairs are very expensive. So unless you have a lot of money or a large grant, like you pretty much are gonna have to deal with the insurance. Um, yeah, Nikki,
Yeah.
did you want to add something? I'm sorry.
Oh, when I had to go get mine both times with my chair, I had to get a note from my PCP, the doctor. This time around, they needed like a whole list of why I needed a new chair. And like with me, I have a lot of pains, and my doctor is not like the most. She's helpful, but you could tell she doesn't like understand quite as much. Like when I try to explain it to her, like she'll be like, "What's your scale of pain?" And I tell her like it's not a 10, it's past a 10. But and she's like, "Are you sure?" So it was like a lot of I know this. I actually just had spoke with her. That's was like fresh in my head. She needed like literally kind of she was listing every body part and why the chair needed to be adjusted for each body part. That was kind of what it seemed like to me. Like, it's, but I think too for me it's because I'm doing it so close. Like, I only got my chair. I got my chair probably a year after I got injured. So it's only been 2 years with this actual chair. So they're probably like wondering because I don't know how long is the gap between most, but I remember being told like 5 years at my first
I think
fitting.
5 years is the
Yeah,
standard for
5 years.
most. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been, and then like I said, when I got measured and all that, that was back in June, and we're gonna be in January, so it'll be 6 months from even just like this process alone, and I'm not even done yet. Like it's still going.
Yeah, that's. How far along are you? Is insurance like is the chair being ordered or
It's not
have
being
you guys?
ordered now. It's being. I think they're like insurance is going to decide whether they want
Oh, okay.
to provide me a new chair or if I seem fit enough to stay in this chair. But I really hope they pass this chair because this chair is not it. Like it's so uncomfortable.
I
Yeah,
hate
I think
that for
that's
you.
yeah. Yeah, that does suck because that's what I think that it's just hard for them to understand how uncomfortable and how like hard it is to be in a chair that doesn't fit you. Like
Yeah, and I
if you
didn't start realizing until I met like people in the community and I would explain to them like how I was feeling and they're like looking at me and they're like your chair doesn't even look like it like fits you at all. And at first I had people telling me you should try to make this tweak, try to make this tweak and I did all of that and they were still like no, you don't look right in that chair at all. So, and it took me pushing to get a new chair to even like make this happen. Like I had to really convince my doctor that this chair wasn't it in order for her to even put through the order. And that was like back in March when I started doing that.
yeah, that's a long process.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
I'm
I
gonna
would
take this.
say, sorry, I
No, go
would
ahead,
say like
Shannon.
now that I'm comfortable in my chair, I mean, this is my fourth or fifth chair and I've been disabled my whole life. And so now that I have a chair that is comfortable and fits me and like suits my needs, I take care of it so much more than I did any of my other chairs. So I think that that is an important note. Like, um, I still will work to get a new chair, but in the meantime, like I make sure to pump up my wheels or I make sure to get new wheels when the tread is too low or I clean out my casters. I pump up my cushion, like I change out the padding in my backrest just to, challenge the
Maintain
luck
it.
of the chair and make sure that it lasts as long as possible while I'm waiting to get a new one. So I think wheelchair maintenance is definitely an important part of, being comfortable in your chair and making sure it lasts until you can get another one.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's actually a
Yeah.
really important thing. That's
Mhm.
great. Do you guys do anything like Ruby? Do you do maintenance on your chair? Do you keep it pretty clean and stuff, or?
I try to, but I feel like my husband does most of it.
Well,
He
that's
does
fine
all of the he
as
does the
long as
car
somebody's
work, the
doing.
the chair,
I'm not
right?
pumping
The
up my
chair
own
part.
wheels. Don't let's not
Yeah.
be confused. I'm not doing the actual filling. I just take it somewhere and get them done. So
Yeah, I was like, girl, she's
we're
got
good.
it. It's a
Yeah.
work. Like I tried one time, like, okay, I'm gonna flip it over and just tell me if I'm doing it right, you know. And then he's like, you're doing it right, but he ended up, still showing me some of the steps. And I've been in a chair 14 years. I'm still learning new things all the time.
Oh my
Yeah, I don't
gosh.
think it matters if you do it or you have somebody do it, as long as the maintenance is getting done, as long as your
Right.
chair upkeep is happening. So,
I'm so
uh,
bad at taking the hair out of my casters. Like the amount of hair in it is. I wait for my dad to see it and do it because it's so gross to me.
uh,
Yeah, the struggle
It's
is
a
real.
lot.
Yeah.
Especially
And
like when you have long hair.
yes, and my hair like falls out and you would think I was balding, but another story.
see, I just have dog hair at my house mostly to deal with, not as much of the long hair. So,
It must be easy to clean yours then.
not as bad. Yeah.
I need to cut mine shit.
I'm gonna just take a quick second here to shout out Ben and Amber in the chat with some super chats. We want to thank you guys. We appreciate you. And appreciate everybody, Peter, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys. We are grateful for you joining us, and I hope you take something from it. There's Ben. There we go. Yeah, so Ben always dropping some stuff, but thank you guys. And also, I should take a quick second to shout out before we get back into the conversation. Normally, we are actually, this is our first sponsored show by Mobility Professionals, which is a mobility company in Southern California, and then also their sub company, Urology Professionals, which is a national brand for catheters. The website is in the description below. You guys can check them out. They're a great company. That's actually where I got my last chair from, was Mobility Professionals. So awesome company. But all right, let's get back into the chairs and stuff. So actually, let's just kind of transition onto that, on the company and stuff, because that can be a really important thing. Like we talked about getting measured, dealing with the right company that knows that you have to order something, like that you need a lightweight chair, that you need, whatever options that you might need. Do you guys have somebody good that you're working with in your areas? Because I know you guys are all across the country, so.
I have someone at Shirley Ryan, but it's all Shirley Ryan does it. Shannon, you probably know this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they work with National Seating and Mobility. That's what it's called in Chicago. So they do all their appointments at Shirley Ryan Rehab. It's a rehab facility, but they work with those people because when I get my chair fixed or need something new with my chair and they come to my house, I have to go through National Seating and Mobility. So that's kind of how they at least do it here with my insurance. I don't know if other people in Chicago with different insurance have to do it a different way, but that's how it's kind of worked for me. And I've had the same girl for my first chair and this chair. And when I had saw her, she also said that my chair didn't look right. So, fingers crossed.
Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
I have gone through Shirley Ryan and National Seating Mobility as well for the current chair that I have. But since getting this chair, I have been working with an independent mobility specialist or distributor or whatever you might call him. And so I'll probably try to work with him to get my next chair because it's his own company and it's just one person that I'm dealing with. And I might need to get an evaluation from a PT or whatnot. But he's super responsive and very knowledgeable. And I feel like when you work with the bigger distributors, a lot of things can lag because they have so many clients and things just get lost in communication. At least that has been my experience. I do like my chair that I got from them, but I have had good experiences working with, a smaller independent contractor that can really get to know me and my needs. And it's a small business. So at the end of the day, you're supporting an individual and not a corporation. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I've heard a lot of things on the bigger national companies. Just like you said, you can get lost. You can slip through the cracks, and sometimes they don't have quite as knowledgeable people that are doing some of the measuring and some of the stuff. They might be there might be some good ones. I can't say that I'm not saying that broadly, but just in general, sometimes that hands-on kind of care can help.
Exactly. Yeah, I've worked with some good people through the big companies, but it's hard to stay with them because they're not always available, or you get pushed to someone else. So I'm all about that personal connection. And if you work with them for a long enough time, then it doesn't feel like you need to tell them, oh, I need this, I need that. They'll just kind of already know what will work best for you, which is nice.
Yeah, it's definitely nice having somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, here in Arkansas, it's not that.
No.
We're not that big. We have a few big companies, but usually, I end up working with smaller companies because we don't have a lot of choices. But there's a few good companies, and I've worked with the same people also. I think when I first got my chair, I don't remember who it was or how I did it, honestly. But the next ones, I got through the same people, the same provider, the same company, and they did a pretty good job with me. So I was content with them.
That's good.
Country life.
Country life.
So Amber in the chat just asked if we had talked about bathroom shower chairs at all yet, which I didn't really mention before, but that would be something good to get into, because that is also usually gotten through insurance. Similar situation, you can get one every so many years. But have you guys had any issues with getting shower chairs or getting anything like that, or do you have a good setup at home?
Well,
Any of you?
my insurance didn't cover a shower chair for me. I don't know why, but they didn't. So
Wow.
I had to purchase it out of pocket. I just found one on Amazon for like $100, and I'm actually it's my one currently is getting a little old. It's time to purchase another one. It's getting a little rusty.
Really, that's crazy. They don't cover it. Have you guys?
They
Ruby,
usually
what
do,
about
though.
yours was covered, Ruby?
Yeah, mine
They
was
covered
covered.
Ashley's.
Oh, okay.
They didn't cover mine. I don't know
So since
why.
you're a para, they figured you don't need it.
Maybe
They're
they
like,
figured I'd throw
They
myself
said
on the
you.
floor.
yeah,
Crazy.
like, she'll be fine.
She'll be
Shannon,
fine. She could throw herself on the floor.
Yeah, that's probably what they were thinking.
She can
What
stand.
kind of shower chairs did you guys get covered by insurance, or Ruby and Ashley? Like, what kind of chairs are they? Because I just used the cheap plastic one from Walgreens, so
It's
I would
Really?
basically
love a
that.
nice plush bathroom
It's
chair.
basically that. It's
Okay.
basically
Well,
that. They have the cushion one and the cheap, the regular plasticky ones. Um, I've used both. I'm actually looking into getting a new one that you kind of like. Well, I'm gonna have my husband attach it to the wall so it can just stay there.
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody else talk about it much, but I'm thinking about investing in one. I think it's a good idea. That way I can just flip it over when I give my kids a shower, and it's less space that takes up in the shower.
For sure.
oh, I like that.
yeah,
That's what I
that's
need.
cool.
Ashley's was covered because she got like one of those big shower chairs. Like
Is it like a folding chair, but for the shower, like one of the
it
waterproof
doesn't
ones?
fold, but like basically, yeah.
But it's a wheelchair, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what they covered for her from insurance.
Do
And it
you
has like all the straps and stuff.
do you guys have a roll-in shower for like to roll the shower in there, Nikki?
We just got the bathroom fixed in July
Oh,
through a
nice.
program here in Chicago too. And they made it like a roll-in. It had our bathroom's still small though, so it's hard to like roll her in there. They still just put the chair and then bring her in there because our bathroom's still small. But like it's definitely really nice now. Like I can transfer a lot easier in the shower because it's like a roll in but not roll in, but it works. They fixed it up. It's I don't know how to explain
Nice.
it, but it's basically a roll in, but it's not at the same time.
Okay. That's cool. That sounds nice. Better than
Yeah.
the tub setup I got here.
Yeah, I have the tub setup also, and a roll-in would be helpful for sure.
I have
Yeah.
Because
both.
the tub, when you transfer, you have to like put your feet over the tub, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember I practiced that in therapy, and I remember doing that because we did used to have a tub, but they got
They
rid of
removed
that,
it.
thankfully. That would have been a little difficult.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, early in my injury, I actually did have a roll-in shower when I lived with my dad and stepmom. They had built me a shower and stuff. But then after my dad passed, I lost that bathroom and have been using smaller, weird setups since. And it's definitely a lot harder and it's not as convenient. But
Yeah, it is more work, I feel like, too, because I flip flop. I use the roll in. Sometimes I use them with it just depends, I guess, for me. And yeah, the roll in is definitely a lot easier. But the tub is just, I don't know. It's just that I guess I'm lucky enough to be able to actually get in both the bathrooms because at my old house, I can only use one bathroom. But this house, I can get into both the bathrooms. And Yeah, it is a lot of work, like doing the tub thing now that I think about it. You don't think about it because you just do it all the time. But yeah, it is like carrying your legs over. And what if they're slippery and you set your foot on the footrest and it can slip and you can hurt your foot. Like there's a lot of bad things about it.
Yeah, definitely a little scarier. Any added obstacles are going to be harder for sure.
Yeah.
And Ben in this chat just said he's have to have your doctor say it's necessity to get the prescription. So if you can get maybe your doctor to say you needed it, like
Milo.
which I feel like any of our doctors would like say you need a shower chair. But
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. You need it. Like, what are we supposed to be stand up in the air?
But that's great. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it seems like a lot of people are buying cheap ones anyways. That's kind of the way it goes. But
Yeah, it's one thing that I have not splurged on, but maybe this will inspire me to get a Lush shower chair
nice.
for the new year.
Yes, get one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what should we go back to regular chairs? I don't know if there was any other questions about, or if you guys had anything else you wanted to bring up on shower stuff, or I guess we could just talk about some of the getting through insurance, or like some of the stuff like that. Like we were kind of mentioning, like you really do need to have a good doctor that'll advocate for you, and therapist as well if it helps, because I know even for me being a quad, to get like a lightweight chair, and then I actually was even able to get my emotion wheels paid for, which is like a power assist wheel. I even got that through insurance because it took a while, the process, but Dean at Mobility Pros, he's a quad too, so he knows what it's like, and he's actually the one that helped me measure and stuff. And he took me to the therapist, made sure that they knew that I was going to need a manual chair, I was going to need it to be lightweight, and I was going to need power assist wheels to be independent and be functional. And like it took a while, but going through the right doctor and then the right therapist, we got it all approved. So you just have to definitely advocate for yourself.
And I will add to that, when I was trying to get my current chair covered, everyone was dragging their feet. I mean, it took forever for the therapist and the doctors to write the letters of medical necessities, and it took forever for the insurance company to come back. And there's certain deadlines, if I'm not wrong, that you have to abide by. And if you don't appeal by a certain time, then you basically have to start the whole process over. So I was lucky enough to have a contact within my insurance company, the person who sold my mom's company their insurance plan, so their insurance broker. And so she was able to advocate on my behalf to the doctor and the therapist and to my insurance provider to kind of speed things along and keep things on track. So I had that other person advocating for me. And if I didn't have her, I really don't know how this chair would have turned out, because it was just such a slow rolling process. And, you can call them and say, how's it going? Like as many times as you want, but they have a million things to do. So if you have someone on the professional side that's also advocating for you, I feel like use it, because that really helped me get my current chair. And it shouldn't be that way, but I was really lucky to have her support.
That helps.
That's great. Really good. So yeah, have you, Nikki? I know you're doing your chair process right now. Are there anything that they haven't approved, or you're having trouble getting approved? As far as, well, I guess right now they're just trying to approve a chair in general, but
Yeah, I've just been put through hoops with why I need a new chair. Like, there's been a lot of, well, now we need more of this. Like, they already had that, it was too big. And then it was like, well, you need more reasonings than just that. I was like, okay. Like, do you want me to, like I said, like, it's a pain. Like, they wanted, like, I guess all the details of, like, why I would need a new chair. So that's kind of been, it's like once they get one paperwork, they're like, well, we need more. So
Right.
that's been kind of either from me, from national seating, or like the I also work with like a OT or PT, I'm not too sure, at Shirley Ryan too, that like has to fill out paperwork. So it's like they're just deciding who they need that paperwork from. Like, oh, we need more paperwork from the PT. We need more paperwork from your doctor. We need more paperwork from national seating. Like, it's like, or like the girl that I work with from national seating. Like, we need more measurements, and it's a little annoying. Like, a little frustrating.
Yeah, understandable. Um, so, Adiana, or whatever, in the chat said that standards are covered too by insurance. So that would be actually cool. I'd have never actually had a standing frame, but
I
and
have
I'm not
one
sure
by
what you have to. You have one?
from insurance.
See,
I
that's
had to
that's
pay
crazy.
mine out of pocket.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, see, like that's crazy that they would pay for that, but not a shower chair for you. And then yeah, Ruby had to pay for one out of pocket.
Out of pocket.
It's crazy what insurance like does and doesn't do for like all
I
around the
guess it's
board. Either
different
you
in
get the
every state then. Like every state's like, yeah, I'll give these people standing frames, give these people shower benches.
That's what I think. Honestly, a lot of it comes down to just the doctors and advocating and just pushing. Like you just kind of got to keep pushing. Sometimes you're gonna have to work harder. Some people are gonna have to work harder than others because your doctor or whatever in your area might just not see the necessity of why you need that or whatever. But
Yep.
or the insurance rep in your area, whoever it is, like so.
Yeah. With the standard, I had to advocate for myself too. So I think it's just a lot of fighting when we're disabled, trying to get new chairs and whatever equipment we need. It's a little frustrating.
So
But
did you have to go through your PCP to get your standing frame prescription, or how did that go?
I
Or
kind of had to
like your
basically
rehab
do
doctor?
I had to basically do the same thing like you do with a chair. Like I needed to see a PT that needed to like um, basically explain why it would be good for me to have a stander. And then I needed to go to my PCP, and then she had to fill out all this paperwork, and then they got it. That one was a little faster, although it still took long, like going through insurance. It was like a faster process. It was more just like convincing my because what the PT had needed, thankfully the PT was someone that I was like friends with, so they were like, you just need to get approval from your doctor. But my doctor didn't understand what a standing frame even was, so I had to like explain it to her. So it was more like explain that to her before I could even get evaluated by the PT, because like she was trying to go by like all the book, because insurance makes you go through all these. They want to see the
Oops.
process, like so. That was kind of how they did that. But then once that was all done and she understood why a standard would be good, it was just waiting for it to come, really.
I also got my standing frame covered by insurance, and I had to actually go to physical therapy for, I don't even remember how many sessions, but it was definitely at least 5 or 10 sessions to try out standing frames and to kind of prove medical necessity that way. So I couldn't even get an order to get, fitted for a standing frame until I had that PT under my belt, and they said yes, this is something that they would benefit from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy that I don't know. You have to do so much just to get things to like help you in you know daily life or even like just help your health because the
Right. And
standard
I
can.
think we were chatting about this just before the call went live. Um, I think adaptive equipment needs to be taken more seriously. It's such a difference in quality of life when you have adaptive equipment that, works for you and fits you and protects your body. And I think insurance companies need to realize that they'll spend a lot more money paying for shoulder surgery or for a pressure wound
Yep.
hospitalization than they would for a custom fit wheelchair or a standing frame. So I think in the long run, having these things that prevent even more injuries from occurring is so crucial.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you have to stress probably when you see your doctor and you're trying to get these things approved. Like even for you, Nikki, like the wide chair, you just say that it's hurting your shoulders because of having to push out so wide. You're going to have shoulder damage. That's going to end up causing shoulder surgery. You're going to be down, more care, more money. So that hopefully
Yeah.
Be as dramatic as possible.
pretty much. I think that's like the way,
Yeah.
that's probably the best way to do it. Like really, 'cause,
That's the one time we can be dramatic, I guess.
yeah. Because
It's like
that's
scene.
part of advocating for yourself. Like sometimes you just got to do little extra to prove your point, or just to like just make sure they know like this is bothering me and I need to change. So
It really is. I've actually been trying to get a smart drive for about a year now. I don't even know how
yeah,
long because I
that's
forget.
what
But
and I guess those are covered as well. So you just
They
have
are.
yeah,
to same thing,
but I
word
think you
it,
got to be
figure
so
it out.
dramatic.
Yeah,
Because the first time they said no, and then I spoke to people in the community, and they're like, "You really have to like milk it." Because like Shannon said, why can't I get the things that would make life a little bit easier? Like, I don't even know if I'd use the smart drive that much. But if insurance covers it and I have insurance right now and I don't know if I'll have it in the future, I'm gonna try to take advantage of everything insurance can offer.
Yes. Take full advantage.
Yes, but
heck
they
yeah.
really did they're like no the first time around. So I was like, okay, let's see. Let's give the
I
second
think
time a
that's
go.
fairly standard to get denied on your first time for a lot of this stuff. So for everybody out there, if you get denied, like
Keep
go
trying
apply again, try again,
and be dramatic.
and be dramatic.
I'm calling my doctor
Definitely.
tomorrow, y'all. I'm waiting a smart drive.
We're
List
all
all
calling
those
our doctors
injuries.
tomorrow to try to get some of this
Yes.
equipment covered.
And also out there too, there is so like if you need, say they're not going to cover a little bit extra, like I don't know, you want the carbon fiber chair instead of the aluminum because of the little extra lightweight. And I know some people that have wanted that. You can cover the difference. A lot of times you can get insurance to cover whatever the other chair would, and you can get a grant or something like that to help you if you really want something like that. Because I know stuff like carbon fiber chairs and things like that are hard to get approved for most people. So, yeah. So let's see what else did you guys want to hit on here. We covered insurances and stuff. Smart
I know we
drive.
covered all the chairs.
I know we covered all the chairs.
All the chairs, I think.
I think it would be kind of interesting to talk about like what do you have or don't have on your current chair now that you wish
That's
you knew about when you were first ordering your first chair? Like what has made a difference to you that you wish that you had sooner?
that's perfect. Actually, do you want to start? You want to, Shannon? You want
No, I'll let you kick us off. We haven't heard
to?
anything about your wheelchair yet.
I guess that's true. I was trying to kind of stay a little bit out of it and just, but so yeah, my chair, like I said before, I have the emotion wheels. So I have like a manual chair with emotions because I'm a quad and have limited arm function. Honestly, so I don't know. My chair situation is a little bit weird right now. I actually am in my last chair because my new chair that I did just get, everything was great on it except for the actual design of the chair. Like I didn't pay close enough attention to where like the casters were placed in like they're too close to where the actual wheels are. So it was changing my center of gravity, which is not something that was in the measurements. Like we measured me perfect and did everything right, but something like weird like that threw me off. And I didn't, so my advice is to pay attention to all the little details of your chair. notice because that's one thing I never even would have thought about in before was the distance between my it's because the length of my chair is the same. That's what's the length didn't change, but the placement of the caster did, and that was just on the quickie chair design. And that was not something that I thought of, and it actually made it so like it was too tippy, and I was flipping over in the chair like
Oh wow.
too often, a lot. So I don't know. That's my one thing that I'm like I really would change. But and then the other thing is just the emotion wheels. My first chair didn't have these, and I tore my shoulders up the first few years trying to push and do everything I could on regular Spinergy wheels and just trying to be the super quad that I like and do everything. And it really did cause some shoulder damage in the beginning. So yeah, that's another thing I really wish I would have gotten right off the bat. And I was stubborn in the beginning. I was like, oh, I don't need something like that. I'll be fine. I can push. Like, so that was those are my couple little things, I guess. So who wants to go next? Ruby?
Me? Okay. I for me, I think the chair has worked pretty good. The one thing that I did have a fit about in my last chair was actually the cushion. It was like some weird material, and all the like dirt and crumbs would fall into it. It was like mesh. I didn't like that. It felt like I would just dust it off all the time, and it was getting on my. It was really annoying to me, like really bad. He always be like, "This girl's tripping," but no, it was annoying me. And with kids, they drop crumbs on you, and it's impossible. And so that really would get on my nerves all the time. That one thing, but other than that, the chairs would work fine. The chair I have now is higher raised because I was pregnant, I think, when I ordered this last chair. So obviously, it was harder for me to push. I needed help pushing because you get bigger or whatever. But but I do have another one that has a lower back rest. That's still my favorite, but the back of it is like so hot and sweaty. It's hot here when it's hot, so I didn't really use it much this summer. But it's still my baby. But that
Well,
was
I guess
it.
you only had like one chair, Nikki, but some things that have definitely improved the quality of my chair. When I had my folding chair, I didn't have a solid backrest. And so that was not supportive at all and was causing me a lot of back pain. And then when I got my first rigid chair, I had a backrest that was too high. That was solid and it was pushing me forward. So now I finally have a solid backrest at the correct height that gives me support but doesn't restrict my movement. So that was one thing. I think that's just trial and error. And so I'm glad that I found that. I also have like rubber coated push rims, which have really helped
Mm-hmm.
me with my limited hand function. Because before, when I was using my chair without the coated push rims, I would have to use the tire a lot more, which I still do from time to time, but not quite as much. So that would make my hand really dirty, and it's just not great wrist alignment. So the rubber coated push rims really did help me. And then the last thing I would say is that this chair is the most narrow and the shortest of the chairs that I've had. And that has helped me get into so many different spaces. My turn radius is a lot smaller. I think as small as you can get the chair, do it because that will really open up a lot of doors for you and just make it easier to get around. So those three things have really improved the quality of my chair.
And she looks so cute in her chair.
You will too when you get your new one that fits you.
Right?
So yeah, Nikki, you're kind of still just getting your sort of second chair, but new to it. So you kind of do know what you wanted to change, which is better fitting. And is there anything else that on there that you wanted to change? Because obviously besides the width.
Yeah, better
And
fitting, and I think they're changing the backrest. But I
okay.
don't think the backrest had anything to do with I think it was like when I was injured that it was just that's what I needed at the time. But now I feel like it's not it. Um, so, but I did hear before I even was gonna like get a whole new chair that you can just change the backrest if like And some, like me in my case, like I got stronger and I was like, I don't really need that much back. You can change that. Like they were going to do that, but now I'm just waiting to get like the whole chair because they're not going to do both. You know how insurance
Right.
is.
Yeah.
So, gotta wait now. But just so people out there know, like I'm pretty sure there's a way if you need to get things changed that you can. Like I've even got new casters on this chair through insurance. It took a while, but it's faster than like getting a whole new thing if you just need something fixed really, really, really like more quickly, I guess, but not really that quick because it still takes about 3 months.
Right. I have a question for y'all. Like, what breaks do y'all feel work the best? I've been through so many breaks and I can't find like the best breaks yet.
I just have
Um,
the ones that like flip onto your wheel like this. It's just like horizontal, and they
That's the
just,
one I have,
yeah.
I think.
And I
you
like
Like,
get
those because when you're pushing, they're like out of the way. I feel like I've jammed my fingers so many times using the lever brakes.
I have the lever ones on mine, so I don't catch my hands too often, but I can see I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like they
I
need to make
actually
brands that are like, like cars, like use these brakes. They work so good. It's like, yeah, I want those. I need some of those.
one
Mine
set of
always get
brakes.
loose though.
Mine's
Uh,
always get loose, like all the time. And then my kids want to push me with the brakes. It's a lot. So that's I'm like,
Well,
what
part
what
of
what
that,
brakes are some good brakes?
yeah, I think part of that is also making sure that your tires are always pumped up because
yeah,
if your tires are full, your brakes will work better.
True.
Okay.
yeah,
So maybe
That
your
100%.
makes
tires are flat.
No, I
I
have
don't have
that.
the
That's
ones
my
that
problem. I never keep my tire pressure up. Like I'm really bad at letting them go low, and that's the braking. Like I know that they're getting low because my brakes stop working.
yeah.
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 One set of brakes that actually a company called D's Locks that's out there. I can't get them on my Emotion wheels, but on regular manual wheels you can get them. Instead of clamping to the wheel like most of the brakes we're using do, D's Locks actually they install like a ring on the inside of the rim, like right around the hub of the inner Spinergy hub,
Hmm.
and the D's lock actually is like a pin that locks into that hub. So it's like a complete it's like a deadbolt that locks the wheel. The wheel
I
will
need that.
not move. It will not move at all. Like
I'm gonna
so
invest in some.
so yeah, the D's locks are an option that are out there.
Okay.
And yeah, I think you can order them. I'm not sure how much they are, maybe, but I don't think insurance covers them. That is one
Yeah, I know
issue.
insurance won't
So
cover
you
them.
have to pay out of pocket, but
I
that's
just
an
I just
option.
want some good brakes.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. And then the other option is just making sure you have high tire pressure and keeping them really tight. Like keeping them
Yeah.
right there. Uh,
That's what he said.
uh,
Yeah, dude.
Ben in the chat says doesn't hurt to exaggerate the equipment you need or like make sure
True.
to try to get everything you need.
Facts, facts.
Aiden asked if Spinergy wheels are covered by insurance. I think that's the same thing. You gotta probably talk to your therapist or doctor and make it known that you need the lightest possible chair. Because I think that's really the main benefit for Spinergy is they're just a little lighter. Um, so I think you can. I'm almost
Yeah, I think
positive.
my
I don't
insurance
want to.
did cover my Spinergy wheels one time.
Right? Okay. So I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
they did.
Oh, damn. Cool, cool,
Let's
cool.
see here. For the things that people would have wished they got on their chairs, Peter said a cup holder, and frog legs was the other one. And frog legs is actually I don't know if you guys use frog legs, but I love my frog legs, and I use yeah I like them, because every little crack and stuff in the sidewalk with the frog legs it at least mellows those out. Without the frog legs, my legs start going crazy, just jumping from those cracks.
Oh,
I've heard
damn.
good things about those.
I need
Oh
to
wow,
take.
Pete. I don't know if that's true or not, but Peter said that these locks cost about $1,000. That sounds like a lot, but I hope they're not that much.
Never mind.
I thought they were only a few $100s, but maybe they are.
I
about
could do a
that.
few hundred, but not $1,000. It's like, oh no, man.
Yeah,
Christmas
that's way
is
too
coming.
much. Even for that, that's a little too much there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, right on. Awesome. Yeah, so thank you guys. I guess we can start to wrap it up a little bit. But that was a good show. I think really informative. Thank you for coming on and sharing all you guys' knowledge and info. And
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yes, of course.
Thank
And thank all you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys. And we'll be back again next. Let me pop these up. I'm not used to doing the women's show here, guys. So I'll be back next Tuesday with the regular show every Tuesday, and then also the Brianna should hopefully be back for the third Thursday of the month, and hopefully Ashley is healthy as well. We're wishing both Brianna and Ashley good wishes and best health because they are both feeling under the weather at the moment. So yeah, just thank you guys all again, and thank you one more time. I'll just thank our sponsors, Urology Professionals and Mobility Professionals, which is the same company, but we just want to thank you guys. We appreciate that, and thank you everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Live to roll.